Hello, I'm Philip Sneller. Welcome to Window on the Word. Today let's turn together to Leviticus chapter 8. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments and the anointing oil, and the young bull of the sin offering, and the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread, and gather the whole congregation at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And Moses did just as the Lord had commanded him, and the congregation gathered at the entrance of the tent of meeting. And Moses said to the congregation, This is what the Lord has commanded to be done. And Moses took Aaron and his sons, and washed them with water. And he put the tunic on him, and he girded on him the girdle, and he clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod on him, and he girded him with the band of the ephod, and tied the ephod to him with it. And he put the breastpiece on him, and put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastpiece. And he put the turban on his head, and on the front of the turban he put the gold diadem, the holy crown, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then Moses took the anointing oil, and anointed the tabernacle and everything in it, and consecrated them. And he sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all its utensils, and the basin and its pedestal, to consecrate them. And he poured out some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, and anointed him to consecrate him. Then Moses brought Aaron's sons, and put tunics on them, and girded them with girdles, and bound turbans on them, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he brought the young bull of the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the young bull of the sin offering, and he slaughtered it. And Moses took the blood, and put it on the horns of the altar all around with his finger, and he poured out the blood at the base of the altar, and consecrated it, to make atonement for it. And he took all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage of the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and Moses made them smoke on the altar. But the young bull and its hide and its offal he burned with fire outside the camp, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he brought the ram of the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and he slaughtered it. And Moses threw the blood on the altar all around. And he cut the ram in pieces, and Moses offered up the head and the pieces and the suet in smoke. And he washed the entrails and the legs with water, and Moses made the whole ram smoke on the altar. It was a burnt offering as a soothing odor, an offering made by fire to the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then he brought the second ram, the ram of installation, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and he slaughtered it. And Moses took some of its blood, and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And Aaron's sons were brought, and Moses put some of the blood on the lobe of their right ears, and on the thumb of their right hands, and on the big toe of their right feet, and Moses threw the blood on the altar all around. And he took the fat and the fat tail, and all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and their fat, and the right thigh, and from the basket of unleavened bread that was before the Lord, he took 1 ring-shaped unleavened bread, and 1 ring-shaped bread with oil, and 1 wafer, and he placed them on the pieces of fat and on the right thigh. And he put all these in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and he waved them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then Moses took them from their hands and made them smoke on the altar on top of the burnt offering. They were the installation offering. It was a soothing odor, an offering made by fire to the Lord. Then Moses took the breast of the wave offering and waved it as a wave offering before the Lord from the ram of the installation offering. It was Moses' portion, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood that was on the altar, and he sprinkled it on Aaron and on his garments, and on his sons and on his sons' garments with him. And he consecrated Aaron and his garments, and his sons garments with him. Then Moses said to Aaron and to his sons, "Boil the flesh of the young bull at the entrance of the tent of meeting, and there you shall eat it, and the bread that is in the basket of the installation offering, just as I have commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. And what is left of the flesh and the bread you shall burn in the fire. And you shall not go out from the entrance of the tent of meeting for 7 days until the day of the fulfillment of the days of your installation, because it takes 7 days to consecrate you. Just as has been done today, the Lord is commanded to do to make atonement for you. And at the entrance of the tent of meeting you shall remain 7 days and 7 nights, and you shall perform the service imposed by the Lord, so that you will not die, for thus I have commanded you." And Aaron and his sons did all the words that the Lord commanded through Moses. I feel compelled to make a comment here. On the day of his resurrection, Mary Magdalene fell at Jesus' feet and wanted to take hold of him. But he said, "Do not touch me." 8 days later, he invited Thomas to touch him. That had nothing to do with Mary or Thomas as individuals, or that Mary was a woman and Thomas was a man. Rather, it had to do with what we just read here. You see, Jesus is our prophet, priest, and king. Prior to his crucifixion, people recognized him as a prophet. When he comes again in glory and sets up his kingdom, he will reign forever as our king. In the time between his resurrection and his return in glory, he is serving as our priest. What we just read says the consecration of a priest takes 7 days. So the day of his resurrection was the first day. Mary couldn't touch him. But 8 days later, Thomas could, because by then the 7 days of his consecration were completed. Thank you for listening. To God be the glory.